The Toronto Maple Leafs win 4-0 on the back of a James Reimer shutout. Phil Kessel has 4 points, including 2 beautiful goals. As well, Morgan Rielly scores his first NHL goal, only to have it taken away because it goes off Kadri's butt. All this and more on LeafsCast coming up. Welcome to LeafsCast. If we've never met, my name's Mark Paul. Really glad that you're listening to the show. First off, would love to hear any comments or questions or just ideas for the show or just anything you want to say about the Leafs. You can shoot me a tweet at Mark Paul. You can also check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/LeafsCast, or just go ahead and visit the website, LeafsCast.com. Now that that's out of the way, the Leafs 4-0 victory against the Edmonton Oilers. It was an interesting game. It was a little crazy. I mean, 43 shots, James Reimer stops them all, and Phil Kessel ends with 2 goals and 2 assists. And we're not talking, he had a couple of assists that were they weren't really all him. The goals were decent. No, the first goal was just it was a one-on-one with Backman, Edmonton's backup goaltender, and he just deked the pants off of him, went 5-hole. His second goal, though, comes off a pass shot off the end boards, and he's basically aligned with the goal line, just, probably 5-6 yards away from the net. I just said yards, and for those of you who are in Canada, maybe it was probably more like 8 feet. Let's go with that. Of course, in Canada, feet doesn't help you either. Let's just say like 3 meters. There you go. So Phil Kessel grabs the puck, snipes it into the corner, and he just kind of looks like, did that seriously just go in? Did I just do that? I mean, it was such a. I mean, even the announcers that were doing the game, they were speechless. So Phil Kessel get these great goals, and he has the goal that Morgan Rielly scored. And honestly, Morgan Rielly scores his first NHL goal. It's a nice give and go. Phil Kessel, one-timer or a nice wrist shot by Morgan Rielly. And on review, the scorekeeper decides that it actually slightly nicks off Nazem Kadri's hip. And by hip, I mean his butt. And they give the goal to Nazem Kadri. I sort of think that the NHL may go back in and look at this and review it and give it to Morgan Rielly. I don't know if there was enough evidence to say that it actually went off Nazem Kadri's butt. But it was a great shot by Rielly. It's good to see him shooting. It's good to see him playing so well. If you look at the way that he played in this game, he's paired with Cody Franson. And the way that Franson played, he looked like he was the rookie. I mean, he had some interesting turnovers in his own zone. He just didn't look sharp tonight. But, man, Morgan Rielly just seems to be getting better every single game. And I think that's exactly what you want to see out of him. It's why he's still here. It's why he's going to be here. And, frankly, in this game, he may have been the Leafs' best defenseman. Dion Phaneuf played a lot of minutes, and he did play quite well. He cleared some loose change out in front of the net that the Oilers should have easily been able to put in if it weren't for Phaneuf. But overall, Morgan Rielly, aside from Phil Kessel and James Van Riemsdyk, he played extremely well. So did Nazem Kadri. That whole first line just tore up the Edmonton Oilers. But Morgan Rielly may have been the next best player after that line, aside from James Reimer. Okay, I keep on nicking it down, but I digress. So, Reimer shutout. Let's just talk about it. There were a lot of shots that went off his chest. It seemed like, man, when are one of these going to go in? When is a rebound goal going to go in? Because there were so many rebounds given up. The style between Reimer and Bernier doesn't seem to give up as many rebounds. He seems to have the ability to absorb some pucks a little better than Reimer. But Reimer's positioning is spot on. And he's able to track down a puck. So even when he makes a save and it happens to hit off his body, it's almost like he knows where it's going. Yeah, it's an extra reaction, but tonight it worked. And it worked to perfection. A 4-0 win for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I want to talk about one guy before we end the show. This is our post-game stuff. It's not going to be long. They're just going to be, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, which we're already at 5 minutes. So we're just going to keep chugging along. But one guy I wanted to talk about tonight, who I noticed in particular, that I think deserves huge props. Paul Reimer, he had been out of the league for 4 years. I know he played in the AHL last year, and he struggled early on. My goodness, the turnovers that this man committed. I mean, honestly, his pairing with Jake Gardiner almost, at least in the eyes of the media and the fans, got Jake Gardiner traded off this team. Now, I think we all know now, or at least you should know, Jake Gardiner's going nowhere, at least this season. And man, did Paul Reimer make him look bad. And Jake Gardiner did the same to him. Neither guy played all that well, but is this defensive pairing ever clicking now? And Paul Reimer made some excellent plays out of his own zone. He was able to clear the puck. He was able to make some plays, and he was able to take that extra look, take that extra second that the good NHL defenseman can do. It's that split second to allow your man down ice to make a move, to at least be in a position to chip the puck in or to make a move at the blue line and advance the puck. Paul Reimer was doing all the right things tonight. I think he deserves huge props. I don't know if the growing pains and the kind of the rust is all shaken off, but the way he played tonight, it certainly looked like we might have gotten a special player here. I know in the first 10 games or so, it was like, oh my goodness, when's John Michael Lyles going to get called back? Because at least he provides some offense. But Paul Reimer played a solid game tonight. I think he deserves mad props. The Toronto Maple Leafs head to Calgary tomorrow, where they will face off against the Flames. A really quick turnaround. Right now, they're it's about 12:20 Eastern time. They're on a flight or about to leave for a flight for Calgary, which is obviously a quick flight, but then a quick turnaround. They have their practice, I think, around 11 or 11:30. I'm sure it'll be optional. And then their game is actually at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so 8 p.m. Eastern. So a pretty quick turnaround, less than 24 hours into their next game. The one thing that I would be concerned about is, do the Leafs have the gas? Do they have the ability to go right in? Are there players that can step up? Because they are a little bit short up front, and with Kulemin down and Bozak down. Can that first line chug along for another game within 24 hours? The Flames have been playing very well. They've been getting on top of things, but we'll see if the Leafs can make a move, win a couple in a row. It would be massive to win some of these games in the front of this West Coast road trip as they play the next, including tonight against the Oilers, they played the next 8 of 9 games on the road. They're 1-0 in that stretch, and we'll find out if they can move to 3 wins in a row. The Calgary Flames are coming off of a 5-2 victory over the Washington Capitals, kind of an avenge game, as the Capitals came back in the first game of the season against the Calgary Flames, down 3-0 and 4-1, only to win 5-4 in a shootout. So Calgary had some extra motivation for that game. 2 games before that, they lost to Phoenix 4-2 and Dallas 5-1. Thanks for joining us on LeafsCast postgame. My name is Mark Paul. Don't forget, check us out on Twitter, @MarkPaul. Tweet at me. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your questions. It's way, way cooler when a show involves you and gets you talking and I want to read your comments on the air. I want to answer your questions on the air. Yesterday, I predicted a 4-0 win for the Leafs. It happened. I'm 1-0, like perfect as perfect can be. I don't expect that to happen again. But my prediction for tomorrow, Flames, Leafs, I'm going to say that it's a little bit slower of a start for the Leafs, but a 4-2 win for Toronto as they move to 10-4. That's my prediction. We'll check you out tomorrow. Hopefully you'll check us out tomorrow on LeafsCast postgame. Bye-bye, everybody.